Very good morning. In this session, I'm going to show the demonstration on creating AWS config for configuration and change management. For doing this exercise, we need three important services, namely SQS, then Lambda function, and AWS config. For connecting Lambda as well as SQS queue, you need a IAM role. So first I will create a IAM role in AWS Management Console. Open IAM. Now click on this roles and create a new role with the trusted entities AWS service, use cases Lambda. The next service name is SQL full access. Select this SQS full access and give the name for the SQS name for this role. SQS role. I just make it as SQS role. Now create a role. Now role is created. Now the next one, I want to create a queue. So I just open a SQS, that is simple queuing service. I want to create a standard queue. So whichever I have already, I'm just deleting. I want to create a new queue. Click on create new queue. So you can choose this type of standard and the queue name is, I can make it as Q1. That's it. Nothing to change. Simply you can create it. Okay, I will give some other name. Q123. I just make it as Q123. Let's try to create a queue. Okay, now queue got created. Now let me go into the Lambda function. I'm just duplicating the tab and open another service called Lambda. Again, I'm just deleting old functions. I'm just creating a new function with the function name is function1. You can choose any runtime environment because our ultimate aim is just to changing the configuration. So you can keep it as a function1. Change the default permission. So now choose an existing permission. Choose the existing role as SQS role. Now create a function. So now what I want to do is under the configuration part. So there is a asynchronous invocation. Click on the asynchronous invocation and you can enable dead letter queue. So you have to enable the dead letter queue. Edit this service and you have to keep giving the dead letter queue as SQS. Queue name is Q123 and save it. Okay, so now every setup is completed. The final thing is that just go to the service called AWS config. Take this AWS config service. So now left hand side you can go to rules. You have to add a role. Click on add a role. So AWS managed rules. Choose the roles as just search Lambda here and come down. So this Lambda DLQ check. So the services are SNS, Lambda SQS and DLQ. Click on next. So click on this Lambda DLQ and click on next. So nothing to do anything simply because we already integrated Lambda. Click on next. Review the policy and save it. Okay. So now what happens now? whatever Lambda function we created, that Lambda function we enabled declarative queue. So, and these rules, there are two rules are there. One is if I click on the rules, it will show like a compliant rule and non-compliant. The meaning for the compliant is that if this Lambda function is integrated with the AWS config, we say it as a compliant. Suppose if a Lambda function is not integrated with the AWS config, then we call it as a non-compliant. We have only one Lambda function, so we call it as a compliant now. So let's see how we can check these the execution results mean. Now you see that if I am clicking again, if I try to click the rules, click the DLQ check. Now enable uh, evaluation mode. Last successful detection evaluation, it is showing 610. Okay. So now, but no, there is no resourcing scope. So what I want to do is, what I am going to do is, the resource in scope is nothing. See that complaint? Okay, you have something. After click on that rules, click on that lab.arq, then in the resource in scope, change it as compliant. Function 1 is already updated. So now what I am going to do is, in the Lambda function, we are trying to change few configuration. That is, go to configuration, general configuration, edit this memory and storage. Memory I'm going to change it as 130. The storage I'm going to change it as 514. Now I just updated and save it. These changes immediately tracked by AWS config. Go to AWS service, just to do a refresh and take this compliant, click on function 1, and there is a resource timeline is there. Click on the resource timeline. Okay, so now you see that uh, something is tracked here. Okay, so these are all the things. These are all the things which is tracked through the cloud trial event. Now, if I click on this cloud trial event, you can able to see the complete details, where the changes, what happens, everything it is listed. So, so now we have done some small changes in the Lambda function. This will be updated here. Okay, now time is 6:12. It will take some time to update into this AWS config. Okay, now you see that now there is a configuration changes updated. Okay, so now 6:12:56 there is a configuration change. Now it is showing it as a from, it is a to, which means that what is the original configuration, what is the current configuration. Previously the memory size is 128, now the memory size is 129. Similar to that, the configuration last modified, so previously it is some dates, now it is changed. Now configuration revised ID, this is the new ID. Configuration storage 512, now it is a 514. So with these, you can able to track your the changes in the configuration through the AWS config tool. So that's it for the exercise. Thank you.